It's kind of funny. And it's kind of sad. I guess it's kind of bittersweet. I guess it's one of these kind of bittersweet things. One of these laughing through tears things. After so much time, after so many years, he finally comes back to his mom. And at first, it's like, who's this? And then there's the moment of realization. My God. It's my very own son. And they're both hugging each other right there in the kitchen. And oh, that is just so moving. It's just so moving to see that he has finally found that thing, that strength to forgive his mom. That he has forgiven her alcoholism. That he has forgiven her for running around with other men. That he has forgiven her for destroying his father's faith in himself and driving him to suicide. And they're both kind of crying and laughing and crying again, all at the same time, In the same kitchen he sat in as a little boy, witnessing his parents' terrible arguments, His dad in tears, pouring the liquor down the sink at 10 o'clock in the morning while she screams at him how if he was a real man with one iota of self-respect, she wouldn't need to booze herself to death, would she? And there are these tiny scratches in the table, which he recalls having made secretly with a fork. And you're aware, of the continuity of things, of the bittersweetness of things. And that's when he says, hey Mom, I have a surprise for you. And the mom breaks away and wipes her eyes and says, what surprise? And he says, look out the window, Mom. And out the window, there's like this dusty pickup with two tiny kids in the back, and they're just staring. They're just kind of staring into the camera. And she can hardly believe these are her very young grandchildren. And that's when he says, Mom, I want you to meet Annie. And that's when this woman, Annie, comes out of the pickup, and she's like, whoa, she's like real tall and fair and strong-limbed with these clear blue eyes that'll look right into your heart. And I mean, oh God, she's like every man's dream of what a good woman should be, and every mother's dream of the wife she would choose for her boy. And it turns out, how he and Annie are out making this new what? Well, life, yeah. They're making this new life for themselves, away from the city, living off the land, trapping stuff, growing stuff, boring under the earth for this clean, pure water, educating their own children in the belief that man is free before God to forge his own destiny and take whatever means necessary in order to protect his family. And then over lunch, which is kind of a chicken salad with mayonnaise, we learn how he is in fact the commanding officer of a group of like-minded individuals that have not armed themselves out of any thirst for blood, but out of necessity, because it is war. War, says Mom. How do you mean war? So Annie, has to explain to Mom how they don't believe in taxes or welfare or any of that shit. How the war is a war against a government that takes food out of the working man's mouth and gives it to the pornographers and abortionists of the world. Is a war against the godforsaken faggots. Is a war against the crack dealers and the blacks. Is a war against the conspiring Jews and their attempts to rewrite history. Is a crusade against the degenerate images that masquerade as art. Is a war against all those who deny our right to bear arms. And Annie, she has like this inner light, and it's like, wow, she's cut. all the confusion and chattering voices of our lives and found this kind of really what? Thing, right? She's found this thing. It's like, hey, she's found this thing. You know, and it's like, she's found this absolute thing, this key thing. This key thing, this certainty, this certain and simple thing which we all search for throughout our entire lives, which is the truth. Right? Fucking nod. Yes. It's kind of moving to see how attentive he is to the kids, right? How he's the one who cuts up their chicken and wipes their mouth with a paper napkin. The image, holy shit, of this big guy in camouflage doing all that caring domestic stuff. His family's at the heart of things. And that's when one of the tiny kids looks up from his chicken and says, "Daddy, why is she crying?" His mother is crying. Staring at the family table with this family she never knew she had, her son and fine young wife and their innocent children with their whole lives ahead of them. She's in fact crying like a tiny child herself. And Annie strokes the boy's hair, which is cut real short like a real young soldier, and says, "Because she is so happy, son. Because she is so happy." Now, I don't